Welcome to EVE Online, I'm Major Freak. So a little bit of aesthetics, your camera work here. So let's hide all the windows here. So what I'm looking at is the gecko, and I'm anchored on it. It's in the center of the screen. I'll use CCP's words for it, the tactical camera. I prefer to call it the aesthetic camera. So we're looking at, and as you can see, the starscape has not moved. We're fixed. We're fixed looking at that one point in space, and we're anchored to this gecko. And that's our we're looking at. Now, I can go track, and it will track that object. But the gecko is no longer fixed in our view. It could drift out of view slowly. In the case of long distance shots, you don't want to use, I call it the aesthetic camera, for close shots. For if you're going to look at something and then track a close by object, the aesthetic camera is just not going to work for you at all. You'll lose sight of what you were looking at originally. But this tactical camera is interesting if you're focusing on distant objects. So yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? What we'll do is go to orbit camera, and I have dynamic camera moving on, but if I turn dynamic camera moving off, I suddenly have the same starscape. All right. If I do tactical camera, aesthetic camera, and do the same thing, it almost looks identical, doesn't it? Whoops, sorry. Click the wrong one. So we'll go back to here, so track, right? We're not fixed off the shoulder of the gecko. We can occlude the target we're tracking. It could drift out of camera shot the gecko. It can do a whole bunch of things, but it's not fixed like this is when I do this. The dynamic camera prevents occlusion of the target, because when you want to look at something, your ship's blocking the view, which is not good. I never like that. So that's why I do dynamic camera. So there I have a nice view of it, of what I want to look at, and I'm fixed off the shoulder of the gecko and no longer moving around. I'll do that again. Show you what I mean. Track. So that's in the center, but now there's a bit of a fulcrum lever action going on with my point of anchor for the camera. The gecko can move in and out of the shot, and if you've got, say, if you're focusing on, let's see, look here, I'll look at, and I have dynamic camera enabled. If I do something close in, like if I track, oops, damn it, sorry. If I look at my gecko and then track, I'll do the same thing as I was the further distance one, but now, as you can see, it's a fulcrum pivot thing, and where my camera is at the joint of that, and it gets constantly adjusted in position, but I'm constantly looking at the center of what I want to track. Sorry, I'm using bad terminology here. I'm tracking something and I'm looking at that object that I want to track, but I'm no longer fixed off the shoulder of the gecko. I'm somewhere in that kind of fulcrum pivot lever motion of moving around and trying to be something. It's hard to describe. So like so, and it's not the best. It doesn't give you a sense of any reference when you're doing it up close. So the niche, it's pretty niche to use aesthetic camera and track. I prefer to use orbit camera and look at and then track something. That's the most fun. With the dynamic camera on, it's kind of difficult to get a good look at it. If you zoom out a bit, and then you can get a better tracking, and then of course it's off the shoulder. So this is the camera use I most prefer, and it's actually called a tracking shot, dolly shot. Let's Google it and see if this person is telling the truth. Well, all right. Yeah, basically this is a, so to speak, tracking shot, dolly shot. I can zoom in, zoom out, but I'm tracking where it's got a point of reference, right? I've got, this is my anchor, and that's what I'm looking at in the center of the screen. It's very conducive to giving you a point of reference, right? This is why I call this a tactical camera. I mean, sorry, I call the tactical camera aesthetic camera, because have you ever been in a fight and accidentally right-click dragged, and then you're like, the action just zooms by you because everybody's on MWD, and you're like, bah! So you lose your frame of reference, and this is not good for frame of reference because I'm not anchored to anything. I'm in space. It's great for like watching things explode, because when you're in orbit camera, something explodes, your camera will snap back to your ship. But if you're in aesthetic camera, if something explodes and you're looking at it, like say, if it explodes, I will snap away and it will drift that way and explode, and I'll see a nice big explosion. Once the explosion is done, I'll still be looking at that spot and not snapping back to my my ship, which is, I find, is very disconcerting, especially if you want something aesthetic. So that's why I call this the aesthetic camera. So let's go back to orbit camera and look at that gecko, and I'll zoom out, track, there we go, and I'll show you what happens when I take dynamic camera off again, just to show you. See it how ugly that is? It doesn't help visual reference. It's just kind of like blocked. It doesn't help the situational awareness very much, because it's like you want to see clearly what you're looking at and what you're anchored on, and never the twain shall meet, right? So that's my main use out of this. But there are some other uses, like what if I would look at the gecko itself? Whoop, sorry. Look at the gecko, and I'm not touching the normally I would be, when I'm looking at something and I haven't tracked something else, I'm basically getting prepared to track something else. I never, because it's very intensive. I'm in combat, I need to see stuff. I want to be hands-free, because as soon as I let go of my mouse, if I I'm dragging I'm clicking and holding drag for left click mouse. As soon as I let go of that, it just goes away, and you're like, what the hell? What's actually happening is you're kind of in one spot. You'll be dragged back and forth. When we orbit around the porpoise, you'll notice we're closer to that than we were. Right? We'll get really close. It's like, wait, why am I not looking at the gecko from where I left it in the orbit? Why am I dragged? Why is the camera being dragged? See? Why is the camera being dragged closer to the porpoise, which the gecko is orbiting, right? So it's not perfect. It's difficult to get a handle on. But you will see we'll eventually come around and zip by close to the camera. So like so. But yeah, it's kind of annoying. I never like this, but just give you an idea of what's actually happening. Of course, you can't really do that. You can't really do that with the aesthetic camera because you're looking at position. If you disengage, you right click and drag, that you're suddenly just staring at like your free camera. So it's pointless using that for any camera work unless you actually want to, free camera it, right? Which is helpful sometimes, especially when you're anticipating a movement of something. I'll try to do that, try to capture it. It kind of looks cool if you're like able to, if you're going to bump something and you can disengage your camera work and be sure that you're going to bump it, and then you can actually see you standing in space still as you bump something and it like takes off like a rocket. So that's the aesthetics of this kind of. It's very niche. Yeah. Let's see this tactical. It's very aesthetic. You can get a good look at something in the distance, like far in this distance, and have a good look at it, like so. I wonder how you could take advantage. Like if I zoom in really close and then track this, it will occlude, and then it won't, and will occlude, then it won't. But as you can see, the anchor point is so tiny. I'm barely getting moved. Like I don't know mechanics very well, but when I was tracking my porpoise, the point of my camera was moving so much that the gecko was flying way out and back. But when I'm doing the same thing, I'm tracking this, and it looks like some kind of angle. I don't know how I could describe the fulcrum, pivot, all that stuff. But the point of my camera is moving, but it's so far in the distance, it's not really. I don't know the utility of using that kind of shot. It just doesn't make any sense to me. There might be a niche case, like in between, like, how could I do that? Like if I was here, and what if I track this? So I am looking at the gecko, but I'm tracking the rock formation, right? I mean, how? That's the closest I can get with zoom. Furthest I can get with zoom, and it's just like I want to find the utility of this, but I just can't. It's always, it's The reason I call it an aesthetic camera is because it's just difficult to control. And so aesthetic camera to me is not very tactical. I don't know where I'm flying. I don't know. I can't see my ship. It's just, it's annoying as hell. And if I had the tactical thing and I'm moving relative to this, I'd see this move, the range moving, and it would be like, where am I? It was like, what the hell? It's not centered up. It only makes sense if I have the tactical overlay on my orbit camera. Because when I'm in aesthetic mode, when I can drift the camera, I want to be able to adjust the camera's location relative to something and get a good backdrop. Whereas you can't have free camera with orbit cam. You can't. It doesn't allow you. The only way you can is if, say, you looked at this and you let go and you have no control over that. Like, you don't know what you'll have to zoom in and zoom out, but you don't have fine control over it. It's like, oh, okay, it doesn't. The movement of the camera makes no sense. I like trying to use film cinematography. Nomenclature is annoying as hell. Yeah, like the Shining, as the kid rides his tricycle through the long hallways. That's a follow shot. But I'm pretty sure we're talking when we, like, I don't know what this is. Like, I haven't a freaking clue, right? But I think this is the dolly shot. I think this is a tracking shot, right? I'm pretty sure, right? I mean, it could be a follow, but like, what's the difference, right? Okay. Tracking shot is when it moves alongside what's recording. Tracking shots are called dolly shots. Okay. Following the horizontal axis as the subject moves, you're probably okay. Where the tracking shot stays on the subjects, right? And this, when I not only see, this is completely different. When I not only it'll trip you out. When I not only look at, but track the same object. Follow camera. So this is a following shot, and the other was a tracking shot. And this follow shot I hardly ever use. It's kind of cool sometimes to do this, and there are specific situations where it's going to look really cool. But remember, in Eve, where you're pointing your ship is not where you're firing. I want to take a look at it's the target, like which, what target, like I can look at, and then I can, the target of it. Give me a second. Like I say, if I had another target, Come on, all right. Say I was shooting this target, and the gecko was shooting this target. I would track that and be able to see the target being shot, and it's really cool. To me, that's a tracking shot. The follow shot isn't going to work for Eve because we don't shoot straight ahead. So yeah, this is very it looks cool sometimes, but mostly it's you absolutely want to do this. It's more tactical, 100%. You can get a view of, okay, I can see my target going down, time to switch to a new one. I can get a visual look at it while I'm doing that, which is cool because this is a game. We want to see some cool shots. So mostly it's me using orbit camera with the tactical overlay. Look, if I wanted to have aesthetics, I'd snap out of it and get a nice pretty shot in there, you know, of the wreck blowing up. But yeah, mostly, like, when do I use the tracking shot? I mean, sorry, when do I use the tactical camera, aka I call it the aesthetic camera? Like, how often do I use it? Mostly when I know which direction I need to look in order to capture a cool station camera shot, but I don't want the camera to start moving around like an idiot. I want it fixed. I know what's going to happen pretty soon, and as all this pieces come together in the composition, I'll take that screenshot or allow the video to be shown without any UI interface, and I'll click elsewhere and get rid of the Evo preview. And there you have the shot that I wanted as I warped in, right? So it's very situational for sure, but mostly it's me using this. It's just so awesome. Yeah, it's just right. I just click and track and zoom in and take that off. There we go. Looks pretty cool, and that's me doing that. It can't work with the aesthetic camera because the aesthetic camera to me is not an action shot, right? Like the tactical camera is not a tactical. It's aesthetic for me, and it always will be. It just because imagine trying to fight with tactical camera. It's just idiotic. I mean, you're constantly, okay, where's the target? Okay, there, but it's gone by and it's going really fast and it doesn't make any sense. And if you accidentally oh crap, where am I? You know, you're lost in space and your guys are like, where am I and what am I looking at? And you don't want that. You want to be dependable and smooth in your camera actions. So, yeah. Tactical cameras, the orbit camera, that's why I have the tactical overlay for it. It's just, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. That, like, the tactical does not work with this. It just doesn't. I mean, it just freaking doesn't. It absolutely freaking doesn't. We're not sitting here planning out our moves. It's you know, it's not a turn-based freaking system, guys, right? And when I'm in, I want my tactical, like, I need my cues. I want my cues up. I want to be able to see that cue. I want to see where that cue's going. I want to be absolutely sure I can see the ranges. I can see everything. And if I don't, and if I use cue, where am I going? I freaking know. And I don't, like, nobody's using, like, it's just ridiculous. Nobody is, because all you have to do is accidentally, and you're like, whoa, shit, where am I? It just doesn't work at all. Period. I mean, you can make it work, you could try, but it's going to be glitchy, and if you screw up, it's going to screw you up for a second, and then you lose your bearings. Right? It makes zero sense. Alright, anyways, I need to get back to doing what I was doing, not get distracted. Alright. I think I covered all of it. Give me a sec. I'll look up camera I'll look up camera stuff. Camera work examples. I've got one in September, 2 in September 22, a 3 in September 22. Ooh, 4 in September 22. Awesome. Give me a sec. So I've got a bunch of these. Gonna see if there's anything I forgot, right? I'm gonna mute my mic. Yeah, there's that. If you're there's two things. If you're like I was talking about, you're looking at the gecko when you're shooting something with the gecko. It blows up. Your view will snap back to the gecko. But since you're an orbit camera, it'll start to drift away from it, right? If that gecko is blown up, last week I've lost 3 of them. Oops. Your view will snap to your ship, and I already described that. So yeah, this number 5 is something I forgot. I'm fairly sure this is happening with both track and orbit. Let me look at. Okay, we're in orbit camera, and then I'll go track. Okay, and if I go tactical, aka aesthetic camera, I go track. Wait, what was I saying? No, not actually. Nope. It's not follow camera. It's I don't think it would be tracking shot. Like tracking shot tries to keep both subjects in view. This is not. I don't know what it would be called. Okay, so that's a correction on an old thing. Okay, let's get them doing this. Just nail down this subject. So I have, watch all my videos to get all my tips, right? That doesn't make any sense, right? Okay. Check the next one. Yeah, back here I just didn't understand what I was doing, right? It was really annoying, and it's a pain in the neck. It's absolutely pain in the neck. Yeah, like orbiting close. I'll give you an example of that. I'll go regroup, and I will look at this character, right? I'm dynamic camera. Wait, no, I'm not. Tactical camera. Dynamic camera, right? And my view is moving. See, the starscape is moving. So my camera, position is moving, to track, keep this in the center of the screen, but the location of my camera is moving. Not as much, but it's moving. And it's annoying because it means things are, the subjects I want in view are constantly moving in and out of frame, which is hellishly annoying. But it's not completely annoying if you have things orbiting really close together. So in that sense it's okay, but it is annoying that, you know, it will drift away from my camera. And I can't, and it would be okay if I could tell where my camera anchor is. I'm expecting to see the porpoise come around right here, but it won't. This is dragging the camera along behind it, and it's hellishly annoying. Yeah. So unfortunately, at no point. Well, there we go. I see. See, it's annoying as hell. So there's that. And I don't know what I was talking about here. Give me a second. It's only 3 minutes long. Do I talk? No mic. Oh, great. Okay, never mind. What the hell was I talking about? So I'm on... I'm using track. I don't know what I originally was anchored on for look at, but I'm hoping it's... Oh no, it's definitely... I'm looking at something. I don't know what it was. Okay. I'm looking at the thrasher now. Good. Alright, so what am I going to do? Yeah, I mean, it's a good example to show... Okay. So what... So it's in this... That curve will always be the center of the screen. And as you can see, my thrasher will be moving out of the picture. But since that's always in the center of the screen, you will always see my bullets going in from somewhere and hitting it. So to be able to see, like, the bullet time, right? I guess that's what I meant, kind of. I don't think I did anything else with this. I think I just let it run until it blew up, I think. Yeah, I mean, to have the shots come in from different angles onto the target is kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, that sense when you've got the ability to kind of drift in and out and see your guns from different angles, it's hellishly cool. You know, so bullet time is cool for that, I guess. For a creative, because you're fixed over its shoulder, you're always going to see the turrets fire in the same way and the bullets go in the same way, and it's going to be pretty boring. But I mean, you know, you don't know where the rockets are going to come from and the bullets are going to come from, but they're coming from somewhere, and they're going towards the center of the screen, which is kind of cool. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Bullet time. All right, fair enough. I'd be looking at the thrasher. Okay, so this is orbit camera, third person view. I'm in both cases. You saw me. No, Mike. You saw me looking at the Thrasher from thousands of kilometers away in my DST. So I'm in orbit camera with the tactical on. I'm tracking a crew'r. And as you can see, the missiles go off in the same way, and the bullets, it's pretty much predictable. It's oh, that's where I'll see the rockets from. So it's not a spontaneous, creative thing. But when it explodes, something weird happens. So what happens? That's weird. Because it'll snap back to, when it blows up, it'll snap back to view onto the Thrasher. That's what's supposed to happen, right? Or at least from what I've been reading my own notes. So it'll go boom. Yeah, I was using Titanium Sabat, and this is an alpha character, I believe, running off. My grandma's running it on the laptop, and it takes a while to kill it, but currently I use Hail. Yeah, and I don't use rockets anymore. I just use Hail and Nosferatu, and I just blow the bejesus out of these things. Okay, did it blow up? There. Okay, it snapped back, and I was like, "How? What happened? What's going on?" And of course, since I'm not touching my camera, my left drag, it's drifting out of position. Of course, like I would if you just didn't control the camera movement. So okay, but that happens with. I can't. Let's see. I'm in my gecko. I'm gonna blow something up. I'll toss toss a worry up. Okay. Okay. So. So we know what happens when we're in orbit camera and we track something and it blows up. We'll just snap back to our current view, our current look at, and we'll. And this is the thing I don't like about it, because you've got bullet cam, right? You've got, wait a sec. Give me a sec. Looking at, tracking. Okay, I'm gonna, damn it. Erp. What the? I'm still looking at the gecko. And the gecko's way over here. Give me a sec. Look at my ship. Look at. And then. Yeah, I don't think there's any way of. I'll try. Of tracking. Okay, tracking, and then. Okay, so bullet time, right? Okay, maybe I was a little bit too ambitious and believing my geckos could hit absolutely everything. Guess not. And if it blows up, say I scoop the drone, then my camera will snap back. Okay, so the same thing will happen. It's just because I'm in a static camera, I won't drift away like I would like that. So it'll snap back to the same object you were looking at. Okay, that's fair. That tracks with both. Okay, it's not just exclusive to orbit camera. Okay, cool. Yeah, and this is when I go, screw this, and I believe I talk about it here.
All right. So welcome to EVE Online and Make It Free. So this is free move, basically. See, I'm in free move. My camera will not orbit a target, but actually just pan around. And I was looking at the target. I hadn't right-clicked and moved my camera away from the soon-to-be wreck.
Yeah, that's a thing I need to emphasize. You can, when you're interested in watching something blow up close, you can go into a tactical camera, look at the target you're blowing up, you're going to blow up, get the angle you want, you know, preferably you're looking at its tail, so you'll be able to see it like you're watching it go away from you. And as soon as it blows up, it doesn't snap you back to your ship. You're in aesthetic mode. The target that you were looking at blows up, but since you're in the aesthetic camera, not orbit camera, your camera will just stop and just stay there where it lost its look at. Yeah, that's a way to differentiate the orbit camera and the aesthetic camera, is that the tactical camera, quote unquote, CCP's term for it, won't snap back to you look at your own ship once the object of your look at is destroyed. That's the difference between orbit and aesthetic camera. And I love the aesthetic camera because it's just, you can do that and it doesn't snap you back. It doesn't, you know, when you're in tactical camera, you want to get going on with what you're doing, but when you want to see something cool, it's definitely the quote unquote tactical camera all the way. So yeah, definitely.
In the past, I've done that with tactical camera, being afraid that, you know, when you're in orbit camera and your target is destroyed, your focus is immediately look at my ship, right? So I'm sure you all know that, but let's just talk about it just if you're confused about what I'm talking about. So normally in orbit camera, and which I've been using forever, when your target is destroyed, your view will immediately, well, not completely immediately, but very quickly snap back to your own ship. And when in observation mode on battlefields, I'd really rather not have that. It's jarring, to say the least. So free move was preferred, and I go like this, and I'd expect the wreck. I'd right click, and all of a sudden I was in panning mode in free move, and now where I'm panning around is where the camera's fulcrum is, or pivot, or whatever. I should actually look that up. Fulcrum versus pivot.
Yeah, I didn't find an answer then. I did, yeah,
okay, yeah, way too complicated. Whatever, pivot, fulcrum. Yeah, we're going with it. So in orbit camera, when it goes boom, your view snaps back in a second. Oh, I'm in tactical.
I'll describe what happened there. So I put myself in the tactical camera. If you're an orbit camera and you're looking at, you're tracking something you're blowing up, you'll keep tracking that explosion. Whereas if you're in tactical camera, you're looking at one spot in space, and you'll need to manually pan your camera in order to actually pan and tilt your camera to actually get that explosion into frame or keep it in frame. That's why I like the trailing, the following shot, the following camera, to be able to actually see the explosion in the center of the camera, which is good. So yeah, and the orbit camera will just once the explosion happens, then you'll get that really weird snapping back to your ship, which I hate, which is jarring.
Sorry. Damn it. Let's get another sucker. All right. Look at. There we go. Now, obviously, when you right-click and drag in orbit camera, you just pan, and then when you release it, you snap back.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. I keep forgetting about that. So when I'm in orbit camera and I am, running away from me, give me a sec, I'll track here. All right, so there we go. And I can't. Oh, interesting. I'm blocked from adjusting. Oh, cool. I never knew that. Okay, so here I am. I can pan myself, but when I'm looking at another object, let's see if I look at my ship. There you go. So I can go like this and pan and let go of my right drag, so I'm right dragging right now, and then click, I'm back. So I can, right? I've never used it. I never find it to be useful. It's quite disconcerting. Yeah, it's kind of like if you were in first-person view and you can't really look around using the camera. You're fixed in space. I think you can zoom in and out. Yeah, you can zoom in and out here. Anyways, yeah, I find it very jarring and not very. It's I'd rather orbit around it. If I'm, I don't have to, like, if there's something pretty, right? If there was something pretty and I wanted to have it in the background, like say that wreckage right there, and if I was like, zooming in and out and going like that, and I wanted to, okay, so that's kind of like a cool movie zoom shot, I guess I could do, maybe. And then when I was done, I wouldn't have to bother with, I could snap back and I'd be back in my aesthetic background view. Zoom in, zoom out. Will it return me to my same zoom though? What if I was zoomed in real close and then I'd adjusted all the camera work, and then what if I zoom out really far? Okay. What if I zoom out really far and then zoom in? So it returns me to the zoom level it was, so that's kind of cool. So it will remember, right? That's kind of cool. So I can zoom out, zoom in, do the camera thing. Like if it comes, like, watch, I'll wait till it does a flyby here. See if we can get a close shot of it. Right about there. So, what? There. So, well, kind of, almost, not really. But yeah, kind of following something, and then I can just, that'll be exactly where I left it. for aesthetic reasons. So it it doesn't really work very well, though. I'd rather, if I'm looking at something, I'll look at it and then I'll want to have something in the view, like track, right? Something like that. Then I can see, right? My favorite, of course, is to track my own ship and have the gecko like right there. I can't right click and drag in this view, which is a shame, but I can see where it's getting at, because it it would really screw up the zoom and where are you at. Oh, I don't know. I haven't a clue. I don't know what I'm talking about at the moment. Let's ignore that subject. It's for CCP to worry about, not me. That's a them problem, not me problem. And okay, so that's cool. All right, didn't know that until now. All right.
To what you're looking at, and when you left drag, you're just, you know, your pivot is right here, right? Now, if you're in tactical and you're looking at something, you do the same thing when you left click and drag, but when you right click and drag, all of a sudden you're free move and you're panning now. All right. So the nice thing about, as you've seen, that I've discovered, is that I don't have to, as soon as it's gonna explode, I don't have to right click and free it. I can just simply look at it. And it does the same thing for me. It does not snap back to my ship in tactical, which is freaking awesome. I love it. It'll be great on the battlefield when I want to view Rex, because when I'm currently, not in the my old system, but my...
I'm gonna be really annoyed if I don't go back to orbit camera and show you what happens when it snaps back.
new system of camera work. Tactical is actually my aesthetics. I don't use it for tactical because it's not very tactical. It's aesthetic mostly. And it's going to help me a lot because my view right here, as soon as this thing blows up, I get...
Oh god, here we go. Don't worry, I don't have Alzheimer's, I'm just an idiot.
Fixed in space right there, right? So it fixed in space, I don't snap back. I can pan now. There we go. Yeah, and the Rex right there. Boom, right? And I don't snap back, right? So let's choose another victim and show you this way. Now I like the orbit camera as tactical because when I'm orbiting say the FC of one of the teams on the PvP battlefield, I'm right in close and I can get, okay, what I'm looking at is 31 kilometers from my anchor point where I want to be, where I think the action is the hottest. Like see the FC of the fleet attacking a riot or Black Flag or Ware 5. I'm sure he's got Ware 4 right now, but I'm sure Stu will make Ware 5. You know, they're like the Spanish people when there's kicking wars. That was fun. I'd love to track them more. But yeah, probably the last time they ever war decked them. So yeah, I mean, I think this is working really well. And whoops, let's try to destroy them. Come on, Vespas, get on them. She'll actually get hammers, but whatever. These guys are vulnerable to, I believe, thermal? EM, just like the augers. Yeah, whatever. Good enough for government work. Alright. So in camera mode, as soon as this thing blows up, I'll snap back to my ship, as of course most of you understand. It's I like the camera it's less glitchy than the tactical, and therefore it's more functional than the quote-unquote tactical. It's CCP are morons. Let's just accept that. So yeah, I like tactical for its aesthetic value, and I'd like from now on to call it the aesthetic camera, and I'm gonna do that. I think I'll just call it the aesthetic camera and let you guys figure it the hell out. And orbit camera is it's tactical, but I'm not going to use that word. I'm just going to use orbit camera and leave it at that. And then when I say tactical, I mean the overlay, and when I say aesthetic, it means the aesthetic camera, because it basically is.
You know, at this point I'm confused. I've forgotten I'm looking at it in orbit camera. And I know when I'm looking at, say, a gecko, and I'm tracking my target of destruction, that I will track the explosion, and then as soon as the explosion is done, or almost done, I'll snap back to looking at the gecko. But when, like, will I see the explosion, or will I snap back to look at my own ship as soon as it blows up? I'm pretty sure the latter.
Your basic, yeah, see, okay, so it'll blow up, and as soon as it blows...
Okay, I was wrong. It's the same thing. As soon as it finishes animation of blowing up, not when the wreck happens, but when we're still tracking the explosion, that's the wreck right there. So...
up.
And when does it snap?
Kaboom. We snap back.
And then I'll...
It's nice that it keeps tracking.
Yeah. That's kind of cool.
That target. But, yeah, there we go. And voila, and we're snap back. That must have been dynamic camera working right there. I've got dynamic camera set. I highly recommend it. It does have its glitches, but when you track something, it's not occluding, your ship's not occluding your target. It's so annoying when that happens, so.
Oh, I miss the old. It's just Jesus Christ, CCP. It's just. It's not a blank space over here. I know, right? Jesus.
You do that, right? See, you're like, ah. So it's more aesthetic, so I like it a lot. There we go. Right, I gotta do stuff. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, yeah, I just learned something new. I thought I had to detach the view. I'll show you what I meant. Like, I thought, like before, you've seen me do it. I've zoomed in a target, the PvP target's about to blow up. I want to be able to still be on looking at it close up and not snapping 3,000 kilometers away or whatever. And so, excuse me, when it's about to blow up, I'll want aesthetic mode.
I think my problem was back then that I wasn't looking at one of my guys first, and then tracking the object in question using orbit camera. I was clicking on one of the enemies itself, watching that, it'll explode, then I would snap all the way back thousands of kilometers to my DST, who had, you know, maximum graphics, the one client that had maximum graphics. So in this instance, I'm up close with my my hyena doing some webbing. So when it snaps back to hyena and not thousands of kilometers away. So it was just me misunderstanding. But it is frustrating, isn't it? You attempt to overcompensate for something you're irritated about, but you don't exactly know the true mechanics of how it works, and thus you can't find a solution or be happy with the one you had before you try something completely different, that kind of cripples your ability to play the game or enjoy the game at least. And I was a tryhard. I was trying to do the aesthetic camera to watch the explosions, where I could have just used the specific orbit camera, look at one of my guys, and then track the object of destruction, or trust that when I'm using my close-in guys, I can just look at that target itself and it will track the explosion even as it snaps back to my ship, which is not as jarring as I remember the irritation to be, right? When the irritation occludes your enjoyment of the game subjectively and with a misunderstanding of the mechanics. It's interesting.
And of course, I'm so used to orbit camera that I'm like, shit, I'll use the right click option to anchor it outside so I'm not, snapping back to my ship. So as you've seen, we don't have to do that. We don't have to do what I'm about to do. It was my old way of doing it, and it's awesome. I don't have to fiddle around with right click because it's a bit janky. So yeah, say hypothetically speaking, your PvP target was, my old PvP targets would about to die, then be like, all right, I want to get aesthetics on this. As soon as it blows up, I don't want to, and I'd be like watching it like that. I'd look out a bit, and I'd be able to view it aesthetically. And then I'm like, oh great, I don't have to worry about snapping back, and then I could focus on something else around the battlefield and go, okay, I want to view that guy, and I click on that and do the whole process again. And now I don't even have to do the right click drag. It's just automatic. It won't snap back to my ship if I'm in aesthetic camera. And that's what I'm going to use from now on. Screw you, CCP. Thanks for confusing us for decades. And not...
Yeah, that's the thing. When I'd be watching battles going on, I'd be cloaked 1,000 kilometers away, very far from the battlefield itself, but still on grid, and looking at certain things, but wanting to look in close and see the explosion up close. That means I had to look at it, which means if I wanted to prevent myself from snapping back to my ship because I was looking at that object, that I would need aesthetic camera. And then I could, when it blew up, I could just look at that explosion, and once it exploded, then I would be in space at that spot, and then I could zoom out and pick another target to look at, and I wouldn't constantly be snapping back and forth from thousands of kilometers away. Right? So.
Caring. Alright. So welcome to EVE Online. Major.
Cool. Let's see, is there anything else?
Welcome to EVE Online. I'm Major Freak. So I really do like this new setup where I've got the tactical overlay set to the orbit camera instead of the other way around where I've got the tactical camera linked to it. So now I don't. And it just feels way more efficient in functionality. Especially if I just thought, if I'm orbiting like this, and it's an orbit camera, or always orbiting, and I can't, free move, then the orbit circles for range work in my favor when I'm orbiting my ship. and which I don't get when I'm trying to dick around with.
Yeah, because the main reason you would have a static camera was to detach with right-click drag your camera from your ship and for anything and be free mode, for free camera mode. And your range radius overlay, your tactical overlay, is without a reference. You're separated from ground zero. You wouldn't, like, when you're doing it this way, you're not really realizing the lack of utility that the tactical overlay lends to the ability to detach your camera from that fulcrum of the range. And you wouldn't know what you're missing until you actually tie the tactical overlay to the orbit camera. And then you're like, oh, this makes so much more sense.
The tactical camera, because too often you'll be free camera, and
when I'm free camera, I want aesthetic, and I don't want the ugliness of the tactical overlay ruining a shot for aesthetic reasons.
When you rotate, you're not going around in a circle, you're just turning around, and it works. It goes in tandem with these circles, and it feels
right. Do you get that? It's like when you left click and drag, you're going to be turning your camera, but in tandem with the tactical overlay. It matches, right? Whereas if you are in the aesthetic camera and you do any left click dragging, right click, it's not in tune with, it's not slaved to, I'll show you what I mean here. Alright, so I'll look at my ship. Alright, so I've got the technical overlays, right? I'm left clicking and dragging. Now I'm right clicking and dragging. When I go into aesthetic mode, this is me right clicking and dragging. I'm just panning the camera. Zooming moves it in, and zooming out moves it this way, all this stuff. And when I'll go look at, when I left click, it goes the opposite direction than when I had it in orbit. Like so. Versus, and I'll turn on tactile camera on for both. Like so. I'll turn it this way. So I am moving, I don't know how I would describe, I'm moving my mouse to the left here, right? And in doing so, I'm going anti-clockwise. When I'm here, and I do it to the left, I'm going anti-clockwise. So let's try that again. So, wait, sorry, my bad. When I do it to the left, I'm going anti-clockwise. When I'm doing it to the left, I'm going anti-clockwise. Okay, it's the same thing. Good, thank God for that. Okay, so the only difference is when I right-click, I'm panning that when I snap back to my center of overlay, right? And when I left drag, click drag, it orbiting the same direction, same anti-clockwise as I'm doing with the tactical of the aesthetic camera. But when I right click drag, it's not going to snap back at all. It's you're now free move. You're now free move until you look at your ship, right? Or look at something. So I guess what I was trying to describe in that video was that when I'm in aesthetic camera mode, I don't feel locked to this disk overlay, the tactile overlay. It doesn't feel, it feels disembodied, kind of, because all you have to do is accidentally go when you're, oh whoa. So when you're here, you're always slaved to that tactical overlay. Except, of course, when you're looking at something else and it's not going to overlay on top of that object. But you get what I mean about you're not disembodied from it. You're always going to snap back to that tactical. And that's why I enjoyed it, because it was very, no matter what, you're going to be able to, no matter what you did with your camera right here, as long as you didn't screw up and look at something else, you're always going to snap back to that disk. And that was so, it felt, when at the time it felt so immediate, I just didn't know how to communicate that very well.
Very immersive, actually. If at least immersive. You know, there's a lot of functionality to it too, because you get a lot of situational awareness.
Right, and it's immersive too. That's what I was trying to say. But I was missing something, of course. When I'm not disembodied with the aesthetic camera, and I'm glued to the orbit camera mode of in this my ship, if I did anything with the right or left click, I'd always snap back to my center. It would not be breaking the immersion of the tactical awareness. That, like, you've got a tactical overlay for a reason. You're not breaking that immersion kind of thing. You're not violating the principle of the reason why you have the freaking tactical overlay up in the first place, right? So that's why I like it tied to the orbit camera, because it doesn't feel jarring or unesthetic, I guess, unimmersive.
Just by, you go, hey, yeah, this is much better than tactical, or having the overlay on the tactical, right? So I find it kind of funny that this isn't called tactical camera. Well, I can see why, right? But they should have really thought about that naming scheme. But way back when, I think the camera's angling was different. I forget. I don't think so, though. Yeah, I definitely like it. It definitely feels way more organic this way. Like it's really functional. Whereas here, if I would say free look, then the range thing would look confusing. And I've done that many times. And it just looks out of place. And if you zoom out too far, it looks unesthetic. So, yeah, I'm liking this.
All right, let's look at a dev blog back in 2014. So I was mentioning that in that video they changed it. tracking camera UI, okay. I just don't understand. I'd read it out loud, but I don't understand it. Like, it'd be nice if they used fulcrum and pivot, but they just said, currently split up into two locations that are not necessarily related to one another. Could you use some actual terminology instead of that? Because, you know, that it's not helpful. Furthermore, the tracking camera controls the indication to the user which mode the tracking camera is in can be confusing and occasionally misleading. Well, if you use proper terminology, maybe it wouldn't be. The competence image below shows the controls that they currently are. Okay. I don't know what this set tracking on-screen position. So I don't know whether it's where your tracking fulcrum is or some UI element that's showing you the tracking camera. So tracking camera track selected item. So instead of right-clicking, it would be an option in a toggle. And could it be a hotkey? I'm not sure. Probably not. Not a lot is hotkeyed. You'd be surprised how little is. Tracking camera. So it was a toggle. So they didn't change the actual functionality of it. They just changed the UI interaction with that. Okay. All right. And they had it in... Okay. Ugh. Jesus, aren't they opaque when they speak? Jesus Christ. What the flying F was this? Oh God, right, when they had the... This was the... Right, it was different, wasn't it? They had... it'd be like something like this, right? Gotcha, and now it's these three things. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I remember this. Oh my God, so long ago. It's funny, it's only like 10 years ago, but Jesus. Okay, so... Orbit tactical something's... I don't know. I forget. Would include the tracking camera controls together with the reset camera function. One benefit of this approach is that the radial button itself can function as a clear indicator that the tracking camera is on and which mode it is operating in. The various states. Okay, the various states it could be operating in. So one is the tactical tracking and one is the orbit camera tracking, I guess. If we clockwise from the top left of the image, from the top left of the image, we have the radial button. Got it. open with controls displayed. In the tracking camera off state, tracking camera off state, but orbit camera? Showing the tracking camera on and using the custom position. Huh? And showing the tracking camera on and use centered position. Huh? Wow, that doesn't age well, does it? Using the controls, the tracking camera can be toggled on and off, and the custom position set and used. The center position used or the view returned to look at my ship. This last is the reset camera functionality, which should rename to avoid confusion and also better reflect what that actually does. Oh yeah, that's clear as mud, you fools. But they didn't actually... Okay, we also looked at the behavior of the camera itself. Okay. We have to bear in mind the important case of combining the tracking camera with directional scanning. I don't do descan a lot combat-wise, so, right? I just go 360 and watch for enemies. On the other hand, we also wanted to remove the confusion when it was very often arising due to the dual control situation. Oh god. We clearly saw that a way to reliably and quickly center the tracking camera position was... What? What? Do they even know what they're talking about? It just looks like they're presenting a new interface for tracking, but they're not really... They don't know how to describe the actual movement of the tracking camera itself. Nor describe the behavior of the camera they're actually changing other than the interface between the D-scan. It's just... They're playing with UI elements, but not actually changing the behavior of the tracking or the orbit or the tactical camera itself, right? None of the look at, tracking, orbit, or tactical camera mechanics has changed. They just are clear as mud, and they haven't a clue what they're talking about. They're just presenting a new UI thing. Hey, this is cool. Give us a promotion. Wow, clear as goddamn mud. Thanks, guys. You're always so bloody helpful, aren't you? Okay, 2 years later. Okay. It stands to reason he loves FPS shooters, that he would be the one in charge of, you know, the first person shoot 'em out. Hi, Hilmar. Okay. Alright. Hopefully I can see this. maximum possible. What just happened? Huh. Really? Really? Yeah, no. What? Yeah, I wish. What the Okay, let's... No, I wish. Yes, please. Yes, freaking please. Yes, sign me up for that, you idiots. Oh my god, to be able to track something that I don't have to, like, you know, where is it? Must click, right click, where is it? You just do a select box. How simple. Just sign me up for that. Okay, so is there a... Okay, Alt plus select. Okay, let's try that again. I don't want to get too excited because you know CCP, how they do shit. It's just... Okay. Alright. I'm just way too excited here. So calm down. Okay, so there it is. You're trying to freaking do it, and you go Alt. Is Alt selected to look at? And... Oh! Let's look at. Okay. Alt. Look at. I can drag it? Okay. That's something new. Drifting while looking at other ships. I think they meant this. Wait. Oh right, I'm looking. Wait. I'm not touching my... What the... Wait a minute. What's going on? Give me a second. That was weird. Let me try that again. Okay, so we're gonna look at... And we're immediately flying away. So... Look... Nope. That snaps me out. Okay, so let's try that again. Look at... Why am I not drifting away? Like, why is it anchored to that? It's not... Why am I... Like... How long does it take till it... Is it anchored? Like, why is that different? Oh my goodness. Can I play with the camera and... Like... That's nice, and that's helpful because it gives me that kind of, you know, it's kind of like this. Except, you know, it turns a bit. Watch. Wait. What's going on? Okay, there we go. It's drifting away. It's okay. Okay, so I'll click. Whoop. Right. I was already looking at it. Okay. So unlike the aesthetic camera, it's the Starscape is moving, but I'm in orbit camera, but it's kind of like a hybrid between aesthetic and orbit camera, where There we go. And now it's acting a normal orbit camera. That's weird, isn't it? And it would be really helpful because it would be like if you... Okay, so if I did like that, and you want to track something else, you're suddenly moving a camera and you're suddenly back in there. So, how can I do this? 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 Maybe if I went like that and went... Nope. Okay. That's cool. I don't know how to take advantage of it. Because I obviously, in orbit camera, when I look at something, right? When I look at something, I want to be able to anchor my reference on something else, right? And that's why I have to zoom out and track, right? I always want to look at something other than my ship and also track an object, right? Super important. I love the ability to do alt clicks. That's awesome. That would simplify the act at looking at something when I didn't have it selected already, right? So say if I look at my ship and I didn't have it easily, I wanted to, give me a second, where is it? Where'd it go? Where is it? There it is. Little bugger. Okay, so that thing is not on my overview. I can't click it easily. Give me a sec. It's not selected item. It's not anything. And so I was like, damn it, click, damn it. But if I just alt boxed it, then I'd be able to deal with the whole, okay, zoom out and then select my ship, and I wouldn't have to finagle around with the overview or anything like that, or get really lucky with my mouse clicking in order to look at it. So that's cool. It would be even cooler if I could, in that mode, be able to, you know, not lose that, not have this happen, right? Because, oops. Yeah, because it's not moving, my camera's not moving away from it. It's so cool. Anyways, so, yeah, I just, you know, I could play around with it, but, you know, where, there it is. And then I have to, you know, it's gonna move on me. I don't know, will it? Okay, let's try that again, because it's my first time using this. Okay, so it's down there. I don't have it, you know, it's not, so I just go, whoop, and if I zoom out, okay, I can do that and zoom out, and then, see, it's not like I'm not fighting the camera to get it tracked, and then I go track, and perfect. Okay, let's try that again. Alright, I'll zoom out, alt box it, then zoom out, and then, yeah, see? And before, what I was doing was, I didn't know I could alt box it, so, you know, I had something else that was like, okay, you little bugger, come on, right click. I'd usually try to right click and then look at, right? And then it would fly away from me, and then I would go, crap, shit, where's my guy? And I'll move out, and then it's, see, that's, it's, it would be, typically I'd be like, get track, like that, but with this new thing, I can zoom out, box it, zoom out, and it's more, it feels more controllable now. It could be subjective on that point, but hey, I love the boxing. Just trying to take advantage of it, right? Well, how can I take advantage of it to get a nice, smooth transition to this from here, right? And it looks smooth and controlled and looks cool with the camera and doesn't look too herky-jerky. I like that. Okay. What else we got here? Okay, puke. What the hell is that? Okay, so... okay, so... Zoom, right? Zoom. And then Alt-Zoom? What's the difference? It doesn't allow me to zoom out very far. What am I doing? What? I don't field of view? What? If I'm looking that far away, I can see there. What? Oh, wait. 1 ring, 2 ring. Oh, okay, see? I can see way wide. See, I can't. Right? Yeah, I'm here, right? If I alt zoom, I can do really wide immediately. Okay, let's try it again. Oh, okay. That's kind of cool. That would be helpful. I mean, especially, and I've let go of Alt, right? That's interesting. Give me a sec. Let me get rid of the UI elements here. Yeah, that's definitely great for aesthetics, right? And even when I turn my camera, it stays that way until I probably hit the zoom again, and then it snaps back. And I didn't have to zoom out very far in order to get a good, right? Because these guys are going to drift out of camera. But if let's see if that works. So I'm gonna no. Okay, so like so, you are that big. What if I make you that? Okay, so near is, yeah, it's not really screwing up the near. But yeah, that's kind of, whoa, that looks kind of freaky actually. Whoa, I don't think I'll do for panning, but for, you know, for still shots, that'd be great. Panning gives you a sense of vertigo for sure. But if I'm close, I want to see that. Now, can I get, no, I can't. I want to get that in view, but it probably can't. Let's see if I can, nope. Whoa, that was freaky. Okay. What's control? Let's do control. This is supposedly dolly zoom. I don't quite see. How far get? Whoa, that's really far out. No, okay, that's the same. Okay, so what's the difference? Is there any difference? I can't tell. I guess it's way too subtle. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. What the... Okay, that's freaky. I guess you'd need something really far in the distance, like that planet, to really screw around with it. So, okay, let's do that. Let's not lose my gecko. Let's go to planet. Let's go to a temperate. We are going to warp squad to there.
Warp drive active.
Odd. Alright. Dolly zoom, let's check it out. Dolly zoom, dolly zoom. Control zoom. Alt zoom. And then normal zoom. Dolly zoom. Normal zoom. Dolly zoom. Okay, alt zoom. Whoa. That's cool. But yeah, I don't... Whoa. What the hell was that? Okay, that was just reversion, so... Okay, I'm switching between control and normal zoom, and I'm not getting a whole lot of difference here. Okay, alt. Whoa, that was freaky. Okay, wait. So I zoom all the way in. I'm holding Alt now. Zoom out. Now if I zoom out all the way and then hit Alt and zoom, and then zoom in, can't see it. Okay, okay. So I zoom in normally, zoom out normally, okay. But zoom in and then hit Control and then zoom, and zoom in. What if I zoom out and then hold Control and zoom in? And then there doesn't seem to be a lot of difference in... Right? I wonder what they meant by that. Let's try that again. What were they trying to prove? Okay, zoom in and out normally. Alt. Now they're going to do dolly. That's dolly. I mean, sorry, that's the alt zoom. And dolly zoom. I don't. Let's try that again. So they're going to do normal zoom right now. Then they're going to do alt zoom. And now they're going to do control zoom. I think there was a difference. What? Okay, about yay, and then control. I I can't replicate that. I'm sorry. I'm stupid. Maybe somebody else smarter than me can do that. Wait, did they just box that? They boxed it. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. So, is C... Do I have still... Oh, I do. I still have it for default. Okay, there you go. So, I'll go Alt, box, and then I'll go C... Where are you, little bugger? Ooh, did you see that? Okay, I'll do that again. Watch that. That's cool. Okay, watch. This is completely different. The game changer here. Okay, so when I want to look at my gecko and then track my own porpoise, I'll go Alt, then I'll hold C. Oh, then I'll look around. I'll see it, and then I'll hold C. And, oh yeah, right. And then it won't see. Watch. As soon as I hold down C, and then I'll drag the box, it's more cooperative. I think. I'll try that again. It doesn't. It looks like it slows down the position of the camera as it likes to wobble around, right? So we'll do Alt, right? And I'll look back at my ship, right? And I'm constantly trying to have to move it, but when I hold down C, it's the same. But when I do the boxing, it's less herky jerky. That's nice. Wow, okay. Cool. Alt. C. Oh yeah. Nice, and I could do it without the UI at all. Of course, I need to be able to see the damn thing first. Somewhere over there! And then I'd zoom over, and then I'd hit C, and then I'd... like that. Cool. So what else have they got in their bag of tricks over here? Yeah, that would be the same as me saying all you have to do is track the object you're looking at, and it's follow camera. It's following shot. So this is a tracking shot, and C, and this would be a following shot, or as following shot, or as they call it, freaking fry. Sorry. Chase mode. Okay, wait. Yeah. At this point, they've lost me. Whatever. I am not going to... Yeah. It would be cool if you could attach whatever you're looking at to with the actual tactical overlay overlaying that, but that's not what's going on here. So, yeah, whatever. First person camera. You can zoom in and out, but yeah. Step zoom. Not that cool. And marquee selection. Okay, what are we talking about here? What's marquee selection? What are we doing? Wait. You can... Okay, multi-lock. Look at Alt plus left drag. We've already established that. And multi-lock target control. Oh, you can target multiple things? Wait. You can target multiple things. That's cool. But you can look at multiple things as in... You can look at multiple things and keep them in view. Let's regroup. Okay, I'm going to Alt these two. Am I going to constantly have both of them in view? I don't think so. I think I'm looking at that guy. Alt. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm looking at that guy alone. Let's Alt. Yeah, no, let's see, nope. Okay, so look at. Okay, and look at all three. Not really. Okay. Let's try that again. So I'll look at one. Okay, I'll look in real close. Let's say if I look at all of them, it would give me... Okay, it would... I wonder if it's going to focus on the thing closest to the camera as the focal point, but have it zoomed out enough you can see all the things you just hit look at, I guess. Okay, that should be... Okay, which one is shit? Okay, guys, cooperate, for Christ's sake. So I think it's this one. Yes, it'll be that one. No, it's not. Okay, so what the hell are you deciding to... Is it just freaking random? Huh? Okay, so I know that's the closest one, so... Okay. How about... That one's got to be the closest one. Okay. So it seems to pan out that you'll look the closest to your... where you are now. Right? Let's do that one. So it'll be... Yeah, okay. But it'll get everybody, not just that. Because, like, if I just did this, it would zoom in real close, right? And I wouldn't see everybody. Okay. That's cool. Alright. Let's do it even further, of course, because Gecko's closest, right? And there, Gecko. Okay. Not quite helpful because I didn't, you know... Let's see. And then see if I can trick it to zooming in. No, it's still not really close enough to see. Okay. Well, that's... I guess that's kind of cool. Right? You can, like... Instead of... Like, say if I was looking at this person, I was... Okay, I wanna look at you. I wouldn't be able to see everybody. But if I could gradually step that down, right? If I went like that, and then I went like this, and then I could graduate to this, and that would look smoother. Because normally, say if you're like, if you're looking at this and you're scrolled out, right? And you want to, okay, well, I want to look at that, but gradually zoom in. You don't have the option. When you look at something, it's going to go real close, right? So you don't have it kind of jarring that way. So yeah, I guess that could work, you know. Alt, look, and then look, and then look. Yeah. Guess it has utility. But multi-lock, I never knew I had the option. I guess that's gonna call control. Whee! Yeah, I mean, that's, like, trying to lock a target like that is annoying because it's moving, right? You're like, I want to lock it up, but you usually have to go to, you know, drones and click on that. I'll probably do that, but that's kind of cool. I never knew I had the option to box things. Or I probably forgot, or wasn't paying attention, or really liked the way I was doing it before, so didn't want to listen to anybody. Typical. That's cool. Right. Orbit camera. Let's see what they're talking about. Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about, do they? Dynamic field of view decreases as you zoomed in and provided much more epic sense of scale and wider angle when viewed up for better overview. What? Dynamic field of view, but don't you get that with the... What? No, they're talking garbage now. I think they're just confusing me. What? I'll keep this in mind. That drifting, I think drifting is when, you know, you look at a ship and then it kind of drifts away, kind of. But when you have a small, fast target, it like zoop, you know. So I don't think they were. Yeah, it's they have the wrong concept of how orbit camera works for aesthetics, which it doesn't. Manual field of view zoom by holding Alt. What did they call it before? Wait. Now I'm like, stop changing terms on me, you idiots. Where's the planet? 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 There it is. Okay, so manual field of view, but Zoom doesn't. Okay, they're idiots. So, Jesus, way to overcomplicate an issue. Jesus Christ. Okay, I should stop reading now because this is just bullshit. So, field of view. Remove that. Field of view zoom by, we know that. Okay, dolly zoom. I don't know exactly what they're talking about with dolly zoom. I've seen how they do it, but I don't understand it. So that's field of view zoom. But I like, how do they do that? How do they do the blue blue? Maybe they probably disabled that one. Right? I bet you they did. Okay. Tracking. Okay, the shortcut. Okay, see the tracking camera in place is always changed, so we know it always the track object center screen while pushing the foreground object to the side as we zoom in. What? Wait a minute. Give me a sec. Okay, so dynamic camera off, right? When we zoom in and pushed out to the side, give me a second, I'm gonna, where's my, gimme. Okay, so we're gonna look at my ship, and we're gonna track that mother. Okay, so apparently, okay, hold C. We're gonna track it, right? Okay, we're gonna track it, and then we're gonna zoom. But no, they have. I should have stopped reading. They have no idea what they're talking about right then. It must be marketing. It must be Ratburger writing this now. It's like, we know how to do this. We'll explain it to them. This is just bullshit. Okay, so no, that's only while pushing the foreground object to the side as we zoom in. That's how dynamic camera works. That's not how. Oh, they changed it. We reverted. Yeah, bullshit. The new chase mode is activated by tracking the ship. Okay, yep. Tracking the thing you're looking at. That's fine. Oh, okay, so there, and I click it again. Click it again. Oh, okay. All right. I think I knew that, but I've probably forgotten it. I've probably talked about it in my video. But yeah, that's cool. All right. Look at command is always available for items far away, but instead of, okay, whatever. I really should use the look at, like, I know it, but I'm like, where's, no, I don't do that. It's where the next agent mission is, where is it in space so I can align towards it, right? Like this, like where is it? Where is it? Right? And I would like to be able to see that and click it somehow easily. Let's see. Like I can use, I guess, that. Let's see if I can open the, because I hardly ever use this freaking overlay. Let's, but when I turn them off, I won't be able to see important shit that I want to see. Well, bloody hell, whatever. I'll move on from that. Tuck camera. Oh my god, that's why they think it's a... They think... it's a RTS. Oh my god, that's why they think it's a... Oh, that's why they call it that. That is so dumb. That's why they call it... Oh my freaking god. Oh, Jesus. Oh, what a hoot. It's... Oh, dear God. Yes, of course. As though you were an observer commanding the battlefield. You know, no, actually, no. No, you're not. We won't have any of the cinematic effects. You're not even using the proper cinematic terms. Jesus Christ. Google's right there. And none of the cinematic shenanigans of the orbit camera is... Yeah, because when you use zoom, you're moving the camera. You're not zooming, you're just moving the camera. You're just moving the camera, you're not zooming. Boy. Yeah. Boy. And zoom isn't applicable. How about that word? Would that work? You idiots. Panning is... No wonder nobody freaking understands how the camera works. Panning. Wait. Panning is done by dragging on with the right mouse button. Panning and tilting is done by dragging with the mouse button. You idiots, because panning is going... Well, wait, no. Panning... Isn't panning this? And tilting this, right? Okay, panning is done... Okay, dragging with the right mouse button, but why... But panning is side to side. Or is it this way? Like, give me a sec. I want to read. Like, they're using some cinematography terms and then not for others. It's like, Jesus Christ, right? Panning, track and zoom, tilt. One side to the other. It's... Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, no. It's just... Okay, go back to freaking... Like, yes, the method acting. I'm an actor. Oh, because there's a pan. Panning is left and right. Tilting is up and down. Alright? So, yay, tilt, or wee. It's like it's... Okay, how about you use gaming terminology like this is strafing. This is strafing the camera. Up and down, left and right. This is, like, what would you call this? I mean, we're not, like, zoom is panning forward, panning back, right? Panning forward, panning back, or strafing. Like, to me, it's strafing forward, strafing back, strafing up, strafing down, strafing right, strafing. It's all the same panning, strafing, whatever movement. It's all just, you're just moving the camera now. You're just, that's it. Why was that so, like, right? It's just like, what the fuck? You're idiots. The look at command preserves zoom distance. So we essentially just pan the camera this way. Battlefield over is what? Okay, so when in orbit camera, I'll zoom in real close, but when I'm, so we'll just do the, can we do the look at? So we'll do that. Okay, we'll do that. So I'm not changing my zoom, and then I can zoom in. And that's aesthetic. Okay, so when I went to, when I'm looking here, I mean in tactical. Sorry, when I'm in freaking tactical overlay view, which I'm using the orbit cameras, and I'm looking like that, and I'm track. So I'm tracking, and I go like that, and I'm looking at that. But now I want to look at my ship. The best thing to do would be go like that, and then look at, and then zoom in. I don't know. I think I highly prefer looking at and then tracking, and then if I really, oh, wait a minute, that I'm in, sorry. See there, okay, so I'm up close and I don't have dynamic camera, so I switch to dynamic camera, and there we go. And if I want to look at these guys, then I just go that, and then I closer, and there, and like yay, and then yay. Yeah, it's just, it's not aesthetic. It's just. Yeah, so that's nice. I mean, if I look right here, this way. But if I look this way and go like that, it'll go, oh sorry, like that, it'll zoom in tight. Okay. Alright. Let's go like that. So if I was in orbit and I zoomed in there, okay, but if I was in aesthetic view, and then I looked at this one, I wouldn't lose what I wanted to have in the background, which is the aesthetic. But it doesn't feel very tactical, right? It doesn't feel tactical at all, but this frickin' does. Like, on the fly, I can be anchored to something, moving around, getting a good look at the battlefield, and feeling like I'm part of the action and immersive, whereas I'm unimmersive with the aesthetic camera. Frickin'. I can't believe they're envisioning this. That's why they called it tactical, that it was an RTS battlefield kind of look. It's like, oh my god, what game do you think we're playing? It's just completely divorced from reality. Wow, guys. Just freaking wow. No. This is not, we're not zooming. We're moving the camera. We're zooming in. Oh my god, these people need to get taken out, shot, pissed on, buried, and then the bullet sent to their families, because Jesus Christ, guys. Icelanders, Uber Alice. Least practical, at least for now, yeah, until Hilmar gets his new FPS game going. And then he does another one. and then he does another one because he's obsessed. Most jaw-dropping? Not really. It's kind of fun when you realize you can use it, and then you're like, it's kind of cool to like have the planets move or feel like they're, you know, spaceship. It's cool. If you've ever flown by, like, let's get. We'll fly towards that first person. So 7 asteroid belt. Oh, we don't want to lose my freaking gecko. Come on. Okay, so we'll go to planet. We're at planet 7 or okay. So planet 7 we'll warp to, and then we should.
Warp drive active.
Yeah. See, and that's cool, isn't it? You know, I mean, it does feel totally cool, right? It's like, woohoo! Sweet, yeah. And then that gas giant, she'll come up in front of us, and it's kind of cool, you know? Woohoo! Funky, and the rings and everything. Yeah, it's always cool. Alright, so... yeah, the military jet roll and pitch, and well, the military jet feel when you roll. You don't get that when you're in other views, so that's kind of cool. I have no idea what this is, and I don't care. Marquee select. You've done that. Sorry, it's just Ratburger wrote that. What the hell? Wait. Orbit, approach, or warp. What? Okay, so wait. How does it choose which one I'm going to warp to? Did I probably... Orbit. It's W orbit, no.
Warp drive active.
Yeah, let's go back. Whee! I have no idea what the hell they're yapping about. Ratburger. Yeah, but the whole lock targets and look at using the box select for multiple targets. That's cool. Ship speed offset. I think they removed that, right? Did they rename it? No, they removed it. I unfortunately, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. Oh. Oof. I know, right? Holy crap. So a bunch of stuff I had forgotten, and a bunch of stuff I didn't pay attention to when they came out with their stupid blog, which I never read because it's too confusing, because, yeah, they just use confusing words. Thanks, guys. Bye. That was cool. Okay. Back when I was putting the playlists, I was putting these in. Wouldn't it be nice if you watch a video and it would like, hello, this is the playlist this is attached to, dear viewer. Okay, so how to camera UI. Camera angles. What did they screw up? Oh, right. If you were tracking something before dock at an NPC station, it'll freeze your freaking view. It's really annoying. But it was fixed, I believe. I hope. I'm probably not doing the thing that creates the bug, but I'm pretty sure it was fixed. Yeah, there's a whole workaround for that. And that was okay. Buzzed by that one real quick. Camera angles. Yeah. By the way, FYI. Yeah, the Stargate direction, if you're an orbit camera, when you jump into the next system, it'll slave your camera to the direction you were going through the Stargate in, and then when you go in the new system, your camera orientation is completely different than what you had it before you left that system. Okay, but if you're in tactical camera, aesthetic camera, it'll be always fixed in one angle looking at your ship. So it's kind of cool. I love, because especially in some really annoying systems, like say most of them are, if you look up, it's going to be whiteout, and it's really annoying aesthetically. Oh, it's massively annoying. So that's why I mostly use aesthetic camera, so I can look at that instead of like complete whiteout, right? Every time I go through a Stargate or undock from a station, it was so annoying. So yeah, that's pretty much the be and end all explanation of this. Let's see if I've got anything. Did I talk? Did I speak?
Welcome to EVE Online. This is Major Freak, and this is why I'm freaky. People called me Major Freak. Yeah, so camera angles. You jump into a system. Why does the background always look the same? Like, you might not notice this if you don't have two clients running. You might not be able to tell, but when you've got like Evo Preview, they always seem to have why does the star background always look the same mostly when you're in this go into the same system, you know? I'll go in the same, I'll show you what I mean. So, you know, you've ever noticed when you jump into, say, such and such system, you're always seeing the star in front of you. And it looks kind of cool, you know, and hey, wonder if I could see the star every time I go in the system. Yeah, short answer, no. But have you always wondered, like, I'd like to be pointing in a certain direction, especially, say, I figured out how to get the undock.
Oh my god. Yeah, definitely freaky. Okay, so these two backgroundscapes are exactly the same, but you swore you had them lined up differently before you jumped, so why is it looking in this direction in this system, and the starscape looks different when you jump into another system, or the same system from another Stargate or something like that, or whatever, right? So you're like, what the hell? It's because if you look at the Stargate, like right now, it'll be pointing directly. Yeah, I think I get to it.
Vegeta. So
I hopefully I get to it. Yeah. So that, when you look at it at the Stargate, when you jump in, it will look exactly like that.
all right, and star right there, and watch. Have to go a little quicker. Minor freaks in the Corvette, by the way. Yeah, see? Same alignment, so okay. But sometimes you don't get that. And I was like trying to figure out if the system...
Spoiler alert, it's the tactical camera. Okay, so I wonder if I show it.
Go as first alignment, and if you go... it just forces the memory. So I'm like, maybe... And then I was looking at this. Oh, wait a minute. It's aligned. What the...
Yeah, see, if you jump into a system and then you click on the Stargate and go look at, you're always going to see it from this angle, from this aspect. And you're like, oh. And then you realize this can be pointed up, down, around. It doesn't matter which direction it's pointing, up, down, wherever. You're going to be aligned in a way that's perfectly matching that. So you're like, oh. Well, that's interesting. So it's forcing a camera angle on you every time you jump based on what the Stargate you jump, your in-gate is. You know, what the in-gate orientation is, that's where your camera's looking. And I'm like, oh. And then I realized, oh, wait, when it doesn't, I'm using tactical camera. Oh, what happens when I use tactical camera to, like, you know, and I'll show you right now. Let's make this video 10 minutes quicker. So we'll go back to Clyde, Warp Squad, and I'll jump in, and I'll be looking. I'll look directly. It's the same constellation, so I'll look at this, right? And everybody else is in orbit camera. No, everybody else is in aesthetic because I hate orbit cameras. So let me open up your preview. And every single one, no matter where they were looking at before, like I'll look, where is it? I'll look there, right? And I'll look there. And everybody good? Okay, good. So, and I'll look, and yeah, there, right? So everybody's kind of looking at different stuff. But when I jump in the system and their orbit camera, they will be slaved. So I'll look at the Stargate. See, it's like I'm looking at it, but it could be akimbo or whatever. But these guys, they're all looking in the same spot in space because they are orientated directly to that. See? And this one, you're not going to be like, you're not going to be whited out every time you jump into systems just because the stupid Stargate is pointed at the white in the background. And so you can keep this orientation in the constellation complete. It's awesome. Oh, it's so wonderful. Ugh. Oh yeah, it's just a freaking game changer for me, at least. Right, sorry, give me a second. My brain just died. What's called? Okay.
Warp drive
La,
active.
la, la. Yeah, definitely I avoid the orbit camera like the plague. It's more aesthetic because I can control my angle a view, and it's not an eyesore anymore. So yeah, it's taking control of your game is 100% a game changer. All right, that's that dealt with. I know I'm covering everything, aren't I? Jeez, might as well get it all compacted into something decent.
Welcome to EVE Online. I'm just going to really short video showing what I've learned about undock tricks, and I'm going to show info and track, and that's planet 4, and I'm just going to simply warp and hit autopilot. Come into dock range. As you can see, then I'll just zoom in or hit my... That probably breaks the camera, so try not to do that. But yeah, definitely zoom in as much as possible. And since you're facing the planet, dock up. Do your thing. Sayonara. I never have update. It just lags me out. How's this? Yeah, no kidding, huh? Alright, let's see this. Well, I'll take half price. I mean, that's definitely normal. You can right click and go to location, but with the hotkey L, which is here, you can just simply go warp. And you see all the silly people go by you. There you go. And of course, the way to get that is to use a micro warp drive capable interceptor. Get all tricked out and simply go that away. Follow this using the Q. Q's awesome. And once you got Q set and it's moving,
I think I forgot what I was originally talking about camera angles. Okay, good buddy. But that was cool to see the scaffolding and the old undock direction and me getting rid of my stupid Athenors. Those were my only Athenors in the game. God, that's nice. ABCs and HiSec, it was the dumbest thing ever, and tricked out freaking excavator drones on Rorquals and Orcas. Just like, what the hell is this? Like, I come back from the game after 3 years away, I'm like, this is just OP, this is stupid. I'm glad they got rid of it. It's just ridiculous. Alright. That really wasn't that helpful. I think everybody knows that kind of stuff. It's, yeah. I don't think this is applicable really to this topic, but yeah, I do have a. If you want to watch it, I don't know. I'm bored. Yeah, that whole camera angle of Jita was just, you know, that was it for me. I think I'm done. Yeah, I looked at that, went through that. I could probably describe what I'm doing here, but there's no mic. It's max graphics. Is there anything helpful here? Probably not. Like, I've probably gone through everything. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm showing you what I've got. I'm turning on down. I have a camera eating me. Do they have apply still? Is it a thing anymore? No, they don't have apply anymore. That's hilarious. Do they have apply here? No, they don't. That's hilarious. Alright. No, there's going to be nothing useful here that we've already... this is just me playing around. Not really understanding what I'm doing. Just playing. So, there you go. That's it. Thank you so much for the one person who got this far. Hope you have a good weekend coming up. And have fun in Eve. And yeah, that's interesting about the box select. That's kind of cool. I'm sure I've found that out and forgotten it at least twice by now over the years.